Welcome to another episode of the Rocky 12 podcast. I'm Matt, and who we got over here?
Jameson.
Yeah, we are so excited today. We get to talk about our Big 12 rankings. So we're moving from the Mountain West to the Big 12, and there's even Jay. There's 5 college football games this Saturday, and 4 of the 5 are either in the Mountain West or the Big 12. How are you feeling about that?
Good. I'm excited for it to finally start.
Yeah, it's finally going. And you started your football, right? You're playing flag football?
We won 56-0 last night.
Yeah, 56-0. And how did your game go personally?
What? Oh, I got a pick, and I got really good flag pulls, and I got a good reception and some running plays.
Yeah, dude, that's way good. That's a great way to start your year.
I also became Jordan Love and got a QB play, too.
Oh, you did? Very nice. And how'd that go for you?
It almost worked.
That's awesome.
The receiver just dropped it.
Oh, man. It's all you can do, right?
Yeah.
Are you guys the Ravens again this year?
Nah, this year we're the Packers.
Oh, nice. Oh, well, that's even better than with Jordan Love.
That's how I became Jordan Love, yeah.
That's awesome. Well, hey, let's talk about the Big 12. Let's talk about our rankings. So,
all right,
got it put up there now. We've got your rankings on top, mine on the bottom. Let's start with Arizona State, since we both got Arizona State as the team that we think will repeat as one of the top teams in the Big 12. What do you like about Arizona State?
Okay, so my number one thing is their QB is really good because he has experience from last year, and he got good throwing yards, which is good. And also they have Sam Leavitt, and then they have a really good wide receiver who's Jordan Tyson, who last year got really good receptions over 1,000 yards, which is hard for a receiver because there's a bunch of other receivers that are playing, so it's hard to get over 1,000. So he's really good. And then they also got some pretty good transfers for wide receivers, and they have 17 returning starters, so their team is most of them know each other, which is good. And they have a decent O-line, so that's also good. And I also think that their schedule's not too hard. Their first 4 games, I think they might.
Yeah, it's hard to find a lot of weaknesses.
Yeah, because they just look really good.
Yeah, it's they're gonna be tough. I mean, that's clear.
It will be hard to beat. Yeah.
Their biggest loss, I mean, you got to think, is Cam Scatabo, right?
Definitely. Yeah.
So you lose a big time running back like that. So I'm curious how Sam Leavitt can do without having that kind of a running back. But it looks like they got a good guy coming in to replace him, though, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he looks.
Who was
pretty
that?
Good. Kanye.
Oh yeah,
Udo.
Kanye Udo. Yeah. So yeah, he was over at Army. I mean, the offense at Army is quite a bit different than it is at Arizona State, but that's still.
But yeah, everybody at Army is a good rusher, so that's good.
Yeah. Yeah, they're going to be tough, so I think it makes sense to see them at 11-1. I personally gave them a few losses just because I feel like teams are going to be coming at them this year. They're not going to be surprised. And their road games are really tough. They have to play Baylor, Utah, and Iowa State on the road. And
those are hard.
Places. But you're right. With 17 returning starters, that's going to be tough.
It should do really good. It's one of the top in the league.
All right, so let's go. I'm going to skip past Baylor for a second just because I've got them a little further down. Let's go to Iowa State since we both have them pretty high. You're having Iowa State go 11-1. So what do you like about them?
Okay, so they don't have as many returning starters, but they still have 13, which is better than most of the Mountain West teams, so that's good.
Yeah.
Their QB is also really good, and he's had experience here, so that's good. And then also they have a pretty decent running back who was on who's on the team last year, which is also good. And also they did lose their 1 and 2 receivers, which is really bad. But I think that their old receivers should carry, and they also got a good transfer guy, which also is good. And then their offensive line, they only have one guy who's new, so it's pretty experienced. And then their defense also has pretty good stuff too. So, when I was looking at their schedule, I thought it's not that hard. Like their hard games. I think where I put their loss was against Arizona State.
Yeah,
because it's not on the road, but I still think Arizona State can beat them even in Iowa. But other than that, it's not too hard of a schedule. Like they don't have that many hard non-conference games, and then they don't have to play some of the better Big 12 teams, which is really helpful.
I couldn't believe it. I was looking at their schedule. No Utah, no Baylor, no Texas Tech,
no Kansas State. It's really they hit it lucky.
Yeah, they got the lottery in the scheduling. That's for sure.
Definitely.
Their toughest game, in my opinion, besides Arizona State, is probably this week against
Kansas State
in Ireland.
But neither team has the
playing across the world. Yeah, out in Ireland.
I think they should be fine.
I think Iowa State wins that game, and the big reason why I do is because Iowa State's biggest weakness last year was stopping the run. They were second worst in the pack or in the Big 12.
Big 12.
In rush yards allowed. I think they gave up 180 yards a game. And the big part of the reason why, though, is because their top 3 linebackers were all injured by the first game of the season.
Yeah,
and they're all back this year. And so I think they're going to be much better stopping the run.
Much better,
and that should help them.
That's going to help a lot.
Especially because Kansas State has lost a lot of offensive linemen. Mm-hmm. And so, I like Iowa State there.
I mean, Iowa State, even with their main guys injured, they still went 11-3. So with them back, they should do well.
Yeah, I think with the schedule they have, and like you said, getting some guys healthy on defense, and then returning the starting quarterback and Hansen, the running back, I like a lot about Iowa State too. Yeah, all right, let's go to Baylor now. You have Baylor with only 1 loss, so let's talk about Baylor.
Yeah, so when I looked at them, I thought I was going to put them 1 because I was looking at a few websites and everybody thinks they're going to go 1. But then I looked at Arizona State, saw that they had a really pretty easy schedule and good team. And then I looked at their schedule, and they have a harder schedule than the last 2 teams we've gone through. They play Arizona State, Kansas State, Utah, and TCU, which is kind of hard. And so like those could be easy wins, but it could be a loss. I had them losing to, I think, Arizona State or Utah because they have good returning starters with 18. They have a really good QB, really good running back, great receivers, and that stuff. They'll do really well this year, way better than last year, but I think I'll have them losing to Arizona State in like the conference finals.
Yeah, I think that's pretty fair. When you have that many players coming back, and then also, what was I thinking? Sorry, I just lost my train of thought. But yeah, you have that many guys coming back, and they won their last 6 games of the season too. So they finished on a really high note last season.
They lost. They lost 5. They went 5-1. 1-5 in the beginning, but then they finally found figured out what they were doing.
Well, and I think a big part of that was getting Sawyer Robertson as the main guy.
Yeah, definitely.
They started with DeQuan Finn, and that just did not work out well for them.
Yeah, he did not do well.
I've got Baylor at 7-5, and the reason that I do is because of their non-conference schedule. I think that that first game against Auburn, even though it's at home, that's going to be tough, and then they have to play at SMU. So I think with Auburn, SMU, and then they have Arizona State, Kansas State, like you said, at TCU, Utah. I think there's enough teams in there for them to run into problems. But I could also see where they could go 11-1, just because they do have so many good players coming back. They're going to be a tough team.
They will, yeah.
All right, my favorite topic. Let's talk about Utah.
Yep.
So you've got Utah at 10-2. I've got them at 9-3. So what do you like about Utah?
So they have good returning starters, 17 in total, which is good. And then they got an amazing QB from New Mexico from last year who threw almost 3,000 yards and did really well. And last year, the reason they went 5-7 was because they had no QB game whatsoever.
Yeah.
Because Cameron Rising, he gets injured every single year pretty much. And then Isaac Wilson, he's okay, but he doesn't have enough experience and he didn't do like phenomenal.
Well, it's hard to start a freshman quarterback.
Yeah, it's hard. So, yeah, this year, now that they have Devin Dampier ahead, and even if he does get injured, at least now they have a more experienced QB at the backup, which is also good. So, and then they did lose a good running back from last year who was pretty good, but they did also get a good running back from Washington State, which is good. So that is pretty much gone, except Bernard he'll never be better, but still.
Yeah.
And then they got a good receiver from New Mexico who got 1,000 receiving yards last year, which is good. And then they have a guy from California. They got good. The guys that they lost, they got pretty good guys to replace them, which I think is good. And then their OL offensive line, I think they should do decent because they don't have too many guys missing. I think they have one or two, but other than that,
they brought back every offensive line starter from last year. So really? Yeah.
So that's good. And then their defense is pretty good. They kept their top two tacklers from last year, which is good. And then they did lose like a few, but they should do well on the defensive side. And also their non-conference games are not too hard. UCLA could be a loss because they now have a really good QB from Tennessee and his brother. But Cal Poly, Wyoming, and those teams, they won't be hard to beat. So I think their main thing is Arizona State, Baylor, Kansas State, those three teams. And then they might also lose to UCLA.
Yeah, there's definitely a few traps in there, but where I think they lucked out this year, they do have a kind of tough schedule, but at least they have Texas Tech, Arizona State, Kansas State. They have those three all at home, which should help.
Yeah.
But, on the road against the BYU is always you never know what's going to happen in the rivalry. But on the road against Baylor is another really tough one.
Yeah. BYU shouldn't be too hard this year, though, because they lost Jake Retzloff, which is not good for them. Like, they're cooked.
Yeah. Let's go. Let's talk about BYU since you bring that up. I mean, because we both dropped them down quite a bit, 6-6 and 5-7, yeah. And then they just named true freshman Bear Bachmeier their starting quarterback.
Yeah.
Do you really think that that's going to cause them to drop that much just because of quarterback?
Yeah, definitely. They have a great team, but the reason that they were doing so well is because losing Jake Retzloff is a number one passer who is one of the best in the Big 12, which is hard to do. And he was also the number 2 rusher. So they also lost him, which is very tough. And all of their other guys don't have a lot of playing time on this team. They only have 9 returning starters, which is lower. It's in the lower end of the Big 12. So they don't have that much of an experience. this year. Like they have really good like punt returner, kick returner. Those guys, they're amazing. They did really well last year. They have no sign of stopping.
Teams.
But and they have a good running back too, which will help. It will help. And then but they lost their 2 and 3 receivers too. And with a bad QB, that's not good because this year their QB doesn't have any experience in college, like you said. And then their backup QBs don't have they aren't any better this year.
Yeah, if they got beat out by a true freshman. And I think that Bachmeier could be good later. It takes time. It's pretty rare to have that kind of to have a kid, especially when he came to the team in the fall. He didn't have spring to prepare, and I agree.
So he doesn't. Yeah, it will be very tough.
And a lot of people point at BYU's schedule being a little bit easier, and their non-conference is pretty easy. Portland State, Stanford, East Carolina. So they might actually have a decent start.
They have a bad conference. Like they have Utah, Iowa, Texas Tech, and TCU, which are all tough teams.
Yeah, that end of the season, I feel like, is going to sink them. Even that at Arizona, that could be a tough game. And when you go Arizona, Utah, Iowa State, Texas Tech, TCU, and even at Cincinnati, that stretch right there,
it's hard,
that could be what breaks them.
Definitely. But don't get me wrong, they could do well, even with a not that great of QB, but they could not do that well.
Yeah, it's just so much harder too. And so I think, when you make predictions, you got to go with what's most likely. And that's what I think we both did there, is just saying, look, you're going to drop down. Yeah. All right. So Texas Tech has been making a lot of headlines in the Big 12 because of their transfer portal activity. It seems like they have endless amounts of money in NIL to be able to bring in lots of transfers.
You don't really need to use it that much because they have 21 returning starters. Most in the whole NCAA. Most anywhere in college football, I think. At least in Division I, which is crazy because they're beating out the amazing SEC teams and the Big Ten and all that stuff, which I'm surprised about. Their team has a lot of experience, which helps a lot. They also don't have a new head coach. Their non-conference games aren't that hard. It's Arkansas Pine Bluff. Don't know who that is. Kent State and then Oregon State, which aren't too hard. Oregon State could be a loss, but I don't think it will be.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty easy 3-0 start.
Yeah, definitely. And then they have a really good QB from last year who got 3,000 plus yards. And then they have I think a backup running back from USC last year.
So I wanted to tell you, so Quentin Joyner, the USC quarterback or running back who they were relying on, just yesterday tore his ACL. So he is now going to be out for the season. So that's one thing that's going to hurt him.
Definitely. But
they got a lot of other guys.
I'm looking at their backup, and even though they've hardly played that much, from last year, they have two guys who only had a few carries, and they still got 300 yards.
Yeah.
So even losing him, they still could do good. They did lose Taj Brooks, a really good running back into the draft, but I think they still should do fine. And then I don't think they really lost much wide receivers, and that's good because they have really good ones. They got a new guy from Miami, OH, but he's still really good. He was one of the way better wide receivers. He was the number 1 on their team. And also they have 2 really good ones from last year. They did lose their number 1, but it should be fine. I don't think they lost many offensive line, which also will help because that's one of the main things you want to have returning starters, because if you have new guys, it's just harder because it's just harder. And I think that will help them a lot. And then They have good tacklers from last year. They only lost their number 3 out of the top 10, which is good. So I think that they will do really well this year. Their hard games, which I had them losing, is to Arizona State and Utah. But other than that, I think they will do well.
Yeah, I was looking at it, and I like what they've done in the transfer portal, like you've talked about. What I was trying to figure out was Baron Morton, their quarterback. He had excellent stats, but one stat that jumped out at me was his QBR, and his QBR, he's 75th in the nation with a QBR of 56, and so I wasn't extremely familiar with how QBR is evaluated, but what it does is it takes a quarterback's passing, rushing, strength of schedule, fumbling, how often they get sacked, and they kind of put all that into one formula. And so I thought that was really interesting that he was so rated so far down when he's such a good thrower. So I guess that's the one thing that could trip them up this year is I did look at it and I said, okay, so what brought him down if he's a good passer? Well, he's one-dimensional. Morton does not run the ball. And then he does take a lot of sacks. Last season, he took, I believe it was 23 sacks. Yeah. He had 23 sacks taken last season. And so I guess that's the one thing. But, yeah, they're going to be tough. I do wonder how well that when you bring in a lot of transfers, even if you had returning starters, it could mess with the team chemistry. But I think Texas Tech is going to be another good one. It's clear to me that the Big 12 is very divided. You've got
really good and really bad.
7 really good teams and a 6 or 7 that I think are really gonna kind of drop out. And
definitely, yeah.
So, all right, let's go to Kansas State. So we talked about them just a little bit when we were talking about the upcoming game in Ireland against Iowa State. We've got them pretty similarly, 9-3 and 8-4. Talk to me about Kansas State.
Okay, so number 1, like most teams, they have a good QB, but he can also run the ball for
he's a good runner.
600 rushing yards. He was the number 2 for rushing, which is good. They did lose their number 1 rusher, but they still have a decent one from last year. Their backup, who got 6 starts from last year and got 600 yards, so about as much as Avery Johnson, which is good. And then also they have pretty good, really good wide receivers. They're number 1 from last year. They did lose, so they lost their 2 and 3, which is painful. Yeah. But they kept their 1 and 4, and then the other guys, which is good. So that should help. And then their OL isn't that bad. They do only have 10 returning starters, which isn't good. But that shouldn't hurt them too much. Which I don't think it'll be that bad. So yeah, their defense, they lost a few of their good tacklers, but they still kept a few. They have a good head coach, and also their schedule. Iowa State will be a hard game. I don't think they'll win it on the road in Ireland because it'll be a tough one, especially because it's against Iowa State. But I'm excited to watch that game. North Dakota will be a loss, definitely. Army and Arizona. Army could be a loss because they have a pretty good team. But I don't think they'll lose to Arizona, UCF. Baylor and TCU, though, could be hard games. But then Kansas and Texas Tech are also pretty hard.
Kansas, that's a rivalry.
Yeah. And then Utah, Oklahoma State, Colorado, that's not too hard. But I do think that they will have some losses in all those games because they have Utah on the road, Kansas on the road, and Baylor also on the road, which is tough.
Yeah, those are all tough.
Which is where their losses come because it's hard games on the road. And then most of their they have Texas Tech at home and TCU at home, which could take away the losses in those games. So, but yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm kind of similar as you. I think that they've just got a good. I don't know. I'm still not sold on Avery Johnson. I think he's a great runner, but in watching games last season, he made so many big mistakes in big
Yeah,
moments, and he was young. I mean,
he is.
that's what's going to happen to like Bachmeier at BYU, and maybe he'll be able to fix that. But there was a lot of mistakes he made, and they
Definitely.
lost a lot of offensive linemen, and even more, they lost their offensive line coach, who was a big part of the team, and he went to the NFL. So yeah, and so I feel the same way. I just think because the Big 12 is so top heavy and has so many good teams, that I just think that there's a good chance that that's why I put them at 8-4. I think that there's 4 losses that are likely to happen. Yeah, when you go
Definitely.
to Ireland and all the games that we talked about. So yep, that's how I feel with Kansas State. So TCU, we both have at 6-6.
6-6. Yep.
They're one of those teams that I look at and I think, they could end up being a lot better than what we rated them at. But I think
Or
just because of how good the Big 12 is, yeah, it could go either way. So 6-6 felt right.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, I think they've got a lot of good things going for them. I like their coach. Obviously, they were in the championship not long ago at all. I mean, into
Yeah,
the
not that
playoff,
long.
right? I mean,
I
right
think
there
it
to the
was
championship game.
2022.
Yeah, it seems like not long ago at all, and yet here we are. But same thing for them. Again, schedule is so tough. They've got North Carolina, SMU. Those are two. That's not like playing Arkansas Pine Bluff, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And then on the road, really tough games against Arizona State,
Arizona
Kansas
State,
State,
Kansas State,
BYU.
Iowa, BYU. Yeah, those are tough games right there. And Baylor.
Yeah. So I like their quarterback a lot, Hoover. He's a good
He's
quarterback.
amazing. Almost
You know,
4,000 yards.
yeah. So they got that, but just so many. The running game just hasn't been very good, and then the schedule. That's the big reasons why I put them at 6-6.
And the problem is even with a bad running game, they lost their top 2 rushers.
Yep. Yeah.
So now their starting guy, he actually did pretty good at UTSA, but he did as good as their number 1 rusher from last year, who was like 500 yards ish.
Yeah.
He should do okay, but I don't know if their running game is that good.
Yeah, they've got to figure that out, because if you're one dimensional and teams can just lock in on the passing game, as good as this conference is this year and as tough as the schedule as they've got, it could make it through. Yeah, if they want to get a bowl game, they're going to have to
work hard
figure
for
that one out. Okay, Cincinnati, we both have it 6-6, so that's an improvement from last year. So why do you think they're going to do a little bit better this year?
Okay, so for Cincinnati, their QB, he's okay. He got pretty good throwing yards last year. He was he was a decent running QB. He did lose 114 yards from last year though, from like sacks and
it took a lot of sacks,
stuff, which isn't that good, but it's okay.
Still, 447 yards rushing and 9 touchdowns. So pretty good runner.
Their OL offensive line, they're okay. They do have a few transfers. One of the guys, I think, or two. So that could be tough, but it also could help.
Yeah.
So as long as they're good, then their QB won't take as many sacks. If they fall apart, then they're not that good, because it looks like their QB doesn't really know what to do once he's under pressure.
Mm-hmm.
They have 15 returning starters. That's pretty good. And then their schedule, their non-conference aren't too hard. Nebraska could be a loss, but I don't know.
Yeah, they've been struggling lately.
And then Bowling Green, Northwestern State, those are not going to be losses. And then they play 6 games in a row: Kansas, Iowa State, UCF, Oklahoma, Baylor, and Utah. Baylor and Utah, Iowa State. Those are really tough games right there. It'll be hard for them to win. And then they also play Arizona, BYU, and TCU, which again, they're all teams that could do better than them.
Could go either way.
And TCU is on the road. Utah's on the road. Oklahoma State's on the road. Kansas is on the road. So the games that are like they might win, but they might not, are on the road, which will not be good because like they will not be able. They might not win it if it's on the road.
Yeah, I like, they have a cornerback that they brought in from Coastal Carolina named Matthew McDoom.
And I watched the game from them last year, and I'm pretty sure it could have been him. He did really good.
Yeah, McDoom. Yeah, he did. He had 3 interceptions and 10 pass deflections last year. The thing with Cincinnati, I think they've made some improvements, and I like the guys they brought in, like you talked about, a lot of good transfers. But the thing is, especially on the offensive line, they've got 3 guys that are coming, from schools that the competition is just a completely different situation. Like they brought in their center, they brought from North Dakota, and he started 27 games, but that's North Dakota. That's FCS. They brought in a Ball State guy, and then another guy, and then a receiver from Lindenwood, which is not even that's I think Division II. So you just don't know what's going to happen when they go up that level, like in some of them 2 or 3 levels. So, but they should be a little better.
They could do better or they could do worse. It just depends. It's like going into the NFL.
That one's really hard to tell for sure. So another team that we've got at 6-6 is Kansas. We both chose them at 6-6. They've got a returning quarterback as well that's had up and down seasons. He was really good a couple years ago. Last year was a bit of a struggle, but let's talk about Kansas. What do you think about them?
So their QB, he's pretty good. Last season, you're right, he didn't do the best. He didn't take too many sacks, but he did lose some yards, and he got 12 interceptions to his 14 touchdowns. So he has to figure out his accuracy and where his players are. Or also the offensive line has to get better, and it doesn't. And like they do have 2 or 3 new guys on their team also. So that is tough too, because now they don't have as many returning guys. And also they only have 10 returning starters, which is pretty low, which isn't good. And then their running back, he's decent. He's pretty good. He played last year. He did good. They did lose David Neal, who did really good last year. I think he went to the draft or a transfer.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, that's a big loss for them. He's their all-time leading rusher, I saw.
Oh, ever?
Yeah.
Oh, dang, yeah. By like 1,000 yards almost.
Yeah, so that's a big loss for them.
Their defense, they lost their top 6 tacklers.
Yeah.
I don't know how that's going to go for them, which it's not great. No. So the only way that they can do well is if their transfers are good. I was looking at their schedule. Their first 2 games should be wins, Fresno State and Wagner. I think they will probably lose to Missouri. They aren't as good as because they lost like their QB and that stuff, but I think they'll still win.
Yeah.
West Virginia, Cincinnati, UCF, those aren't too hard of games. That could be win or loss. Anyway, and then they play Texas Tech, Kansas State, Oklahoma State, Arizona. Those Texas Tech, Kansas State, those are hard games. Their last 2 at Iowa State and Utah,
which that's a tough finish.
Really tough and hard finish. So I think they should go 6-6 because like it could be anywhere. Also, it's like one of those teams that could do well, could do bad. But I think
it's so hard to tell with the transfer portal, and with them losing, like you said, the top 6 tacklers on the team are gone. They lost all their top 3 receivers. They lost their all-time leading rusher. They lost their corner, the Kobe Bryant and Mello Dotson, their corners from last year combined for 9 interceptions, and they're both gone. So, it could. Now that I'm thinking about it, I almost wonder if I should have gone even, like a 4-8 for Kansas. I feel like it's so much to overcome, but you never know because transfers sometimes can do well.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, it just depends.
It's hard to say. So Houston, I was a lot higher on Houston. I put Houston as they're kind of the team that I think are going to surprise this season in the Big 12.
They are, yeah.
I like a lot about them. I like how they.
Connor Wigman. He did. He got injured last year.
Yeah, I think that was a huge, kind of a shocking pickup, honestly.
Yeah, I'm surprised he went there. I'm like, maybe he didn't get any other scholarships, or maybe he just wanted to do that just to like show people that he is better.
Maybe. Yeah. So I like a lot about that. The biggest thing for them, so they got their top receiver back. They've got Wigman, so we'll see how he does. They did lose some important defenders.
Yeah.
But their schedule, I think, might be the easiest in all the Big 12 because I look at it and Houston does not play Utah. Houston does not play Kansas State. They don't play No, they do play Baylor at the end. No Iowa State. So, and their beginning, they play Stephen F. Austin and Rice. Those are probably two of the easiest starts. And then their other non-conference is at Oregon State, and then they play Colorado. So they could. I mean, Oregon State could step up. They're tough at home, but Houston has a real shot at going 4-0 to start the year.
Yeah, definitely. I totally agree with that. But also, they could be Oklahoma State, UCF, but they're both on the road, which
so that could be a trap game.
So they also play Texas Tech, Oklahoma State on the road, Arizona State on the road, UCF on the road, TCU, and then Baylor on the road. Those could be 6 losses right there.
Yeah, true. So I can see totally how you would have them, a little worse.
And then Oregon State could also be a loss too.
It could. Oh yeah. I've seen Utah go in there and lose to Oregon State when they haven't been that good. It's just that crowd gets really raucous and loud, and so that could definitely happen. So I'm excited to talk about this one because you've got UCF as 5-7, and I've got them as my worst team at 3-9. So how do you think they're going to get to 5 wins? Talk to me about that.
Okay, so these are one of the teams like that could go either way.
Yeah.
Like, I agree with you. They could do really bad, but they also could do decent. Like, they're not going to go – I don't think they'll get a bowl game no matter what happens, but they could do a bit better. It just totally just depends.
Yeah.
They do have a not that good QB. They lost their top 2 QBs last year.
Yeah.
And their guy, I think, got injured because he only has 1 start, or he played because of an injury. And then their running back isn't the best too. And also, they have a really good receiver, DJ Black from Limestone. It's a Division II, which totally different games, like you said, but he did do really well from it. He was one of the best in the conference.
Yeah.
Even maybe in the league. And also they have decent other guys. They did lose they lost everybody who got caught a reception from last year, which is not that good. But their transfer portal could step up or could step down. Now that I'm talking with you, I realized, man, they might do really bad this year.
It's hard to say. I still gave them 3 wins, and that's because they do have Jacksonville State. Although Jacksonville State's gotten better.
But North Carolina A&T, no.
Yeah, so there's a win.
And then North Carolina, it could be a win. It could be a loss.
Hard to say this year.
And then Kansas State, Kansas, Cincinnati, West Virginia. I think they'll only beat West Virginia. Baylor, Houston, Texas, Oklahoma State, BYU. Yeah, now that I'm talking with you, I think they'll only have 3 or 4 wins. Yeah.
Yeah, they just lost so many guys, and their quarterback situation, like you were talking about, is really, they're in a bad situation there. And really, the guy that carried their team last year was RJ Harvey, who will probably be the starting running back for the Denver Broncos.
Yeah.
That he like carried the team and now he's gone. So it's not looking good for them. Let's go to the next team here. We're getting close to wrapping this up. Next we had how about Arizona? Because this is another one that we were really different on, and it's interesting because with Arizona, you had Arizona at 2-10. I've got them at 6-6, and I've looked at a lot of like Phil Steele and Pick Six previews and several others.
Pretty low.
And, yeah, they're more in line with you, and Arizona, I've got them thinking, I think they still get a bowl game. So let's talk about why you think they're going to be so bad and why am I wrong?
So last year, they didn't do the best from last year, and then they lost starters too. And one of them was their top running back. And when you lose starters, you don't want it to be your key players. So they have a guy from that's a player. Never mind. They have a guy from last year, I think. Yeah, and he did okay. He got like 350 yards, whatever. But let's see. There is a guy from Texas State who actually did really good.
Oh yeah, Ismail Mahdi, yeah.
But for some reason they're not starting him, and I would start him if I were them because he got great stats in Texas State, and they have a pretty good QB. He's decent. He did throw a few interceptions last year, 12 to his 18 touchdowns, which is kind of a problem.
Yeah.
And he lost 220 yards, which means he takes a lot of sacks.
Yeah, and doesn't run it much. So one-dimensional, definitely not good in today's game.
Definitely, yeah. And with their offensive line, it looks like they have like one or two new guys, but if they can't get their game together, and Noah, he takes sacks, it looks like. I don't know how else he would lose 220 yards. Yeah. So if their offensive line falls apart, then they won't be able to get a throw off. And their running backs, they look decent, but I just don't know if they will be able to get through, especially with him. Like, he's good at throwing. He got 18 touchdowns, but they also lost to Torian McMillan, who's now starting in the NFL.
Yeah, that's a huge loss.
He really carried. Like, if he got half of the team's reception yards, and now if they don't have, and they also lost their 3 and 4. So if Noah doesn't have anybody to pass to, and to Torian, he was really good. Like, he went like top 3 rounds, I think, in the NFL. And that's why most of the interceptions didn't happen. And if he's gone and nobody else can catch that good, there will be a lot more interceptions. And like offensive line, they're okay. They kept their top 4 tacklers, which is good. But then they lost like 3 and another 2 at the bottom. Their schedule, Hawaii, Weber State, those 2, the only loss would be to Hawaii probably. Weber State, they're not that good. Kansas State, Iowa State, Oklahoma State, BYU, and Houston. That's 3 losses right there. Maybe 4 in my opinion. And then Colorado, Kansas, Cincinnati, Baylor, Arizona State. There's another 3. So I think they could do well, but I don't think they're gonna like go over 4-8, maybe 5-7, maybe. But I don't think they'll do amazing.
Well, and I'm trying to find 6 wins, and I don't know. Let's say hypothetically they beat Hawaii, Weber State, Oklahoma State, maybe BYU, maybe. Yeah, I definitely need to change that 6-6. I'm looking at this and now I think 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm with you. Maybe 4 tops. Maybe at Colorado, maybe Kansas, since Kansas could drop down a little. But yeah, it could be really hard to get to 6 wins. And again, looking at the QBR stat for Noah Fafita, and it's terrible as well. A lot like
that is their backup though.
Aaron Morton. Yeah.
Sucked.
And it just shows if you take a lot of sacks and you can't run the ball, that really hurts your team. So
Definitely.
all right, you've convinced me. I think I was wrong on Arizona. What do we got left? So we've still got
Colorado, Oklahoma State,
okay.
and UCF.
That's or West Virginia. We talked UCF.
You already did UCF? Okay, yeah. So West Virginia, my bad.
Okay, so let's go to West Virginia.
Okay.
You got them 3-9. I've got 5-7. The national kind of has them lower too. I'll tell you why I think 5-7. I mean, they lost 4 on the offensive line, and that's going to be really rough.
It's really tough if you can't get your offensive line together.
I mean, that's hard, right? And especially when you bring in, they're probably going to go with the transfer from Texas A&M, Jalen Henderson, who's a good runner, but they're another team that's really going to rely on transfers, and especially because their coach came from Jacksonville State, and so they've got a lot of Jacksonville State players coming over. But
that's not exactly a good thing. They did not do well at all.
Yeah. So is that why you've got them a little lower?
Yeah, because last year, once you see them getting crushed by Coastal Carolina, that's where I realized that team sucks. Yeah. And bringing over them, that could be good. Like, they probably got some good players. Like, it could be good. But right now, yeah, their starting QB could be the Texas A&M guy. But it also could be, and then it could also be their backup from last year. But they did lose Garrett Green, who did decent. Like, he wasn't the best, but he was pretty good. Like, he got really good rush. Really good. For the Big 12, because there hasn't been a lot of high rushers. Their running back, he played last year. He did well from last year. Mm-hmm. He should do pretty good this year. They did lose their 2 and 3. One of them was their QB. Their wide receivers, they lost their top 3 receivers, and they have okay QBs. Like, they could do good, but they also might not because they don't have too much experience. Like, last year, the guy didn't play from Texas A&M. The other guy didn't get too much playing time. And, I mean, right now, their number 1 is not the best. Their number 2 is okay. Cam Vaughn, he's looking decent from Jacksonville State. But, again, their competition wasn't that hard.
Yeah.
And they still lost to the not that hard competition. And like you said, they lost almost all of their offensive line, which is really tough because offensive line is one of the things, like what I said, you need to have the most returning starters because they need the most experience. They have 10 returning starters. They lost their top 4 tacklers. Their schedule, Robert Morris, Ohio, Pittsburgh, those aren't that hard. They might lose to Ohio, but I don't think – I wouldn't count on it. And then they play Kansas, Utah, and BYU. Those could all be 3 losses right there.
Yep.
And then UCF, TCU, Houston, Colorado, and Arizona State. That could be another 4 or 5. And then Texas Tech, that's not a good game to end on. And, like, Houston, UCF are on the road, and Kansas is also on the road. I think they'll go 3-9.
Yeah, I once again, I think I'm convinced. I did my rankings a while ago, and I'm looking at this and same thing. I mean, at Ohio, actually, Ohio's been improving. Pittsburgh it's a tough game, even though they have them at home. It's a good ACC team.
Yeah, Ohio could be lost because it's on the road.
Yeah, and they're on the road against some of the teams that they could beat, like UCF, BYU, Houston.
You need to be at home when it's a tough game.
Yeah, and I only see
like 3
1, maybe 2, like kind of guaranteed wins, and then the rest.
And then, I bet they'll win at least 1 game in the conference.
Yeah, so I would definitely shift my rankings a little bit there on West Virginia. Mm-hmm. But I think they'll be better later. I like that they've added Rich Rodriguez as a good coach. So we got Colorado and Oklahoma State left. Let's go to Colorado. We've got them pretty close to the same here. 5-7, 4-8. You know, it looks like we're both looking at a pretty big drop off for Colorado after losing Shedeur Sanders
Shedeur and Travis. That's horrible. Shedeur and Travis put up huge numbers last year, and losing them really is not good.
No, they kind of carried the team, right? And even then,
Shedeur,
it's still a struggle.
He got crazy throwing yards last year. He got sacked a lot, 371. Like, I watched the bowl game against BYU. I saw how much he got sacked. Like, he got sacked a lot, but he can throw bombs. Like, I can see why he's starting on Cleveland.
Yep.
Against Dalen Gabriel. And then Travis Hunter, he was amazing. Also.
Yeah, you lose Travis Hunter, and really now they lost their top offensive player and their top defensive player in one guy.
I mean, they did get decent transfers. They have a freshman starting, and then they also got Kadon Salter from Liberty, who's done good the last few years on Liberty. But again, Liberty, they're a good team. Like they're the best team, but in the bottom 3 conferences. Yeah. I did last year see that they started out ranked because their QB was good. They had a good team. But this isn't Liberty. They lost a few guys. They have 11 returning starters, not a lot. I mean, they have pretty good teams. Like they got not the best rushers. They don't have a good running team, but they do have good receivers. They have decent receivers. They did lose their top 4. Travis Hunter, Torrey Horton. I know those guys.
Oh yeah, all the receivers. Yeah.
It's bad, but the other guys, now that the really good receivers are gone, I think they're all really good. They just didn't have all the playing time because those top 4 guys are crazy.
They virtually never left the field. Yeah.
But their offensive line, it's not that experienced. But I was looking, they got like USC, Tennessee, and Texas A&M. Those are bigger schools. But it could be the not as good guys at the bigger schools.
Yep.
And then, they're tackling. They lost some good guys, which is not good. But they kept Deion Sanders.
We were wondering with his cancer that he had, and grateful to hear that he's healthy enough that he can be back coaching and didn't have to step down like a lot of people thought he would. But they lost a lot of guys. I see on their schedule, Delaware, Wyoming are probably pretty safe to say guaranteed wins because they're both at home.
West Virginia could be a win, but it is West Virginia. Arizona at home. BYU could.
Yeah, Tech, 5 pretty good, games that they should be able to win at home.
But there's a few. They have some pretty hard, like Kansas State, Arizona State, West Virginia in West Virginia, Arizona, Utah, Iowa State, TCU, BYU. They probably have one of the toughest schedules in the Big 12 with a not that good team. That isn't that good. Like that's their big default.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, our last team, Oklahoma State. You got them 2-10. I've got them 3-9.
Pretty much,
pretty much the same. Pretty much both of us have them about as our last team.
Last year.
This team, I feel bad for them because they've had such a good history.
They've had great, 10-4, 7-6, 12-2. Last season, it was a huge downfall from 10-4 to 3-9.
Yeah.
Their running back, Ollie Gordon, he fell apart. Like the season before, he did way better. Like everybody said, he's going to be number 1. He's going to be the best rusher in the whole league. And then he's way below. QBs are getting more rushing than him. Ashton Genty cooked him.
I have to think. I know he had some kind of injury because, and even now, I was watching highlights of him with the Miami Dolphins, and he looks like the Ollie Gordon from 2 years ago again. He looks healthy. He looks good again. But last year, it was bad.
He sucked. And then they lost their QB, Alan Bowman, which is also bad.
Yeah, he's been there a long time.
Zane Flores, who didn't play last year, out with a leg injury. He didn't play in 2023 either. He's redshirted for 2 years. He hasn't played 2 years, which isn't good. So he's getting kind of old, just like Alan Bowman.
Yeah.
I think he's already he should already be a senior.
And they lost their entire offensive line. So they basically have a quarterback that really hasn't played much. They might even go with this Haas Hengi guy, who I think transferred from TCU. He's a speedy guy.
That's good.
But I mean, their offensive line looks like it's going to be rough. They lost almost all their top guys on defense.
All their receivers too.
All the receivers. It's just an empty cupboard. I don't get how such a good program let it go so bad.
Definitely. But yeah, everybody. I mean, their team is way different from the last few years when they were good, which also isn't good. And also their schedule. UT Martin, I think they can say that they have a win right there. And then they play Oregon. I don't think they're going to win. Then they play Tulsa. That it could go either way, but I think they might lose.
Yeah.
And then they play Baylor, Arizona, Houston, Cincinnati, Texas Tech, Kansas. At least 4 of those are losses.
At least, yep.
And then Kansas State, UCF, Iowa State, I think they'll lose all of those games.
Yeah, not looking like a good year. Like it depends on how Tulsa goes. They could, snag a couple wins there in the beginning, Tulsa, UT Martin, but after that, it's going to be a rough road.
It just depends on how all their transfer guys do, honestly.
Yeah, and that's, again, kind of what we talked about in the beginning of this podcast was just it's just a different college football now when you have so many transfers going all over the place.
Last year's NFL draft, it looks so good. Like, you saw Ashton Genty, Cam Moore, Dylan Gabriel, Shedeur Sanders. The whole college football last year.
It was such a deep draft.
All of the good receivers, all of the good QBs, all of the good running backs. It was insane.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
I can see why Carson Beck didn't go into the draft last year because he wouldn't have gone. He would have been like Dylan Gabriel. Probably. Oh, yeah. I'd say Dylan Gabriel's better than him.
Well, all right, we got through it. That's a lot of teams in the Big 12. A lot to talk about. So thanks for sticking through and talking with me tonight, Jay. But there it is. As we said, we might, have to adjust some of these, but it's getting to be the start of the season, so we're just gonna have to roll with what we want.
I'm excited for the start of the season, though.
Oh yeah, I can't wait. I just saw that ESPN is now gonna do something called like ESPN Unlimited, and you can sign up for just all ESPN channels. And I'm like, okay, I'm getting in on that. So it's gonna be pretty good.
I made sure my mom didn't quit on the YouTube TV.
Good. Oh, YouTube TV is the best. I love it. It's great recording and yeah. Oh, I'm so glad it's starting. It's finally here.
I think we should do a week by week for the teams though. That would be fun.
Oh, for sure. For sure. We will. All right. Well, have a good night. And for all those that listen to our podcast today, thanks so much.
Thank you.
We'll see ya.